Let me ask you something. What if every single thing you did, every meal you ate, every place you slept, had to be paid for, not with cash, but with your own intelligence? Just think about that. A world where being smart literally makes you rich, and running out of brain power makes you, well, poor. Okay, let's get into this, because in the world we're about to explore, that's not just some weird thought experiment. It is a brutal, cold, hard reality. Your wealth has nothing to do with what's in your bank account. It's all about what's going on upstairs. And being poor, that isn't just a struggle, it's a terrifying, fatal weakness. So, today we are breaking down the incredible story of a man who accidentally stumbles into this exact place, the Land of Zikola. Now, our story doesn't actually begin in this strange land. It starts with a pretty ordinary guy whose life is about to get, well, anything but ordinary. Meet Khaled. He's 28, he's got a degree in commerce, and he's totally in love with a woman named Mona. But here's the problem. Her father keeps shooting him down, and he's done it 8 times. Why? Because in his eyes, Khaled just isn't extraordinary enough. He hasn't done anything special with his life, and you can imagine, after the 8th rejection, he is at his absolute breaking point. So in this moment of pure desperation, right after a huge argument, something completely nuts happens. One second he's in his familiar village, and the next he's just somewhere else, lost, totally alone in the middle of a massive, empty desert with absolutely no clue how he got there. As he's wandering, probably thinking he's hallucinating, he stumbles on this incredible sight. A beautiful, magnificent city just rising up out of the sand. It's a place he's never even heard of, a place they call Zikola. And this, right here, is where his unbelievable journey truly begins. Khaled figures out pretty fast that this gorgeous city runs on a set of rules that are unlike anything he could have ever imagined. And these rules, they're not just weird, they are deadly serious. So here's the central idea that controls everything in Zikola. It's currency. You go to work, you do your job, but instead of getting a paycheck, you're paid in what they call units of intelligence. Every single thing, from a piece of bread to a bed for the night, costs you some of those units. Your mind is literally your wallet. You can see how this creates this constant grinding cycle, right? You work your tail off to earn intelligence, then you immediately spend it just to survive, and you're living in this constant state of fear that your mental bank account is going to hit 0. Because in Zikola, if you go bankrupt, you become a target. And that leads us to the single most terrifying event in this entire society, the Day of Zikola. Trust me, this is no holiday. It's a culling. The city's doctors round up the weakest citizens, the ones with the lowest intelligence units, and they pick the 3 absolute poorest people to participate in this really twisted game. Yeah, and there is no prize for second place. The person who loses the game of Zikola is publicly executed, slaughtered right there for the entire city to watch. That is the ultimate price for being intellectually poor, a truly chilling way to run a society. So, as you can probably guess, Khaled is not exactly looking to settle down and become a citizen. He has one single, all-consuming goal: get out of Zikola and get back home. Luckily for him, he's not completely on his own in this nightmare. He meets a guy named Yamin, a local who becomes his first real friend and kind of lays out the horrifying rules of this place. And then there's Asil, the city doctor. She's not only kind and wise, but she's also an outsider in her own way, which gives Khaled this tiny little glimmer of hope. And you can just feel how lost he is. I mean, everything he understood about how the world works, money, family, love, home, it's all been replaced by this terrifying new system based on intelligence, survival, and fear. He is completely and utterly alone. But then a path forward starts to appear. He hears about this legendary book. It's the most expensive book in all of Zikola, ridiculously hard to get. But the rumors say it contains the one thing he needs more than anything else in the world: the secret to escape. So after working like crazy and spending a fortune of his hard-earned intelligence, he finally gets his hands on the book. And it pays off. It reveals this critical piece of info. The tunnel that mysteriously zapped him into this world, it has another entrance, and it's just on the other side of the city's massive, impenetrable walls. For the first time, he actually has a plan. All right, so the stage is set for a final, desperate gamble. This is a plan so risky that if it fails, it doesn't just mean he's stuck in Zikola, it could very well mean his death. So what's the plan? He has to spend almost every last unit of intelligence he has to secretly hire people to dig a tunnel underneath the city wall. It's a huge operation, and it's going to take 20 long, agonizing days. The tension is just immense. Every single day that goes by is another chance to get discovered. Every unit of intelligence he spends brings him one step closer to becoming poor, making him a potential candidate for the next day of Zikola. It's a total race against the clock, with his resources and his luck draining away. And then the day finally comes. The tunnel is done. In the dead of night, he crawls into this suffocating, dark, claustrophobic passage, just inching his way toward the other side, toward freedom. And he makes it. He bursts out of the ground, looks back, and he sees the massive walls of that city behind him. And in that moment of just pure, raw relief, all he can do is shout his victory to the empty desert. Khalid finds his way back through that phoric tunnel and finally returns home, to his village, to his world. You know, he might not have been extraordinary before he left, but after surviving the Land of Zikola, he has a story that proves he has an absolutely unbreakable will to live. And that really just leaves us with one final kind of unsettling question to think about. If your mind was your money, how rich would you be? In the brutal economy of Zikola, would you be one of the wealthy ones, or would you end up another victim of the game?